Welcome to the Writer's Block, our weekly extended look at all things sports. I'm Jenni Carlson here in the studios at the Oklahoman, joined by Cedric Golden in the studios of the Austin American-Statesman. Hello, my friend.
What's up, Jen?
Hey, it is almost August, and that means it's almost football. So our lead segment, we got to talk about football being back, Cedric. I don't know about you, practices have started or they're getting ready to start pretty much at all levels. Is this the time of year that you feel like we're being teased, like it's there, but we're not quite there and we've got to set through the preseason games and the practices and the press conferences? Or do you sort of get excited about all of that?
I get excited because we're inside of a month. Now, the tease is Big 12 Media Day. We go and you're like, all right, here we are, but you're still more than a month away. But we're a month away now, and it's all downhill from here. People are excited. I'm starting to watch more NFL Network, more ESPN, because I'm trying to bone up on my college football and pro football info for this big trip that we're about to take. So this is not a tease. This is the real deal. The next 3 weeks, closed practices where you get to hear the coach tell you how great everybody looks, and you have to choose whether or not you believe him. And then you have to choose whether or not you want to share it with your readership. So those are the kind of things that sports writers go through. So maybe we get to see a practice or two. I hope so, because our eyes tell us stuff, and we want to share that with you guys.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, and obviously the big payoff is at the end of the month as games get started. Now we've got some August games with the way the calendar is, and you have that first slew of Thursday, Friday games of the college football season. We'll have a Friday night game here involving Oklahoma State. It's actually at Oregon State, and then a Sunday night game involving Oklahoma. So that'll all happen that first weekend. I know Texas games as well. But Cedric, as we think about these upcoming seasons that we're about to watch, whether pro, high school, college, whatever the level, is there anything that really sort of top of the head for you you're excited about, either a player, a team, a topic? Like what are you most excited about as we really launch into this thing?
The one thing I'm most excited about is Big 12. I mean, that pays our bills. That's where we make our money as newspapers, as journalists, and that's the most fun for us, is when we get to see each other on the road at these games, Texas OU, Texas Oklahoma State, those kind of games. And that's the fun part, is watching the teams. We know who the good players are, but there's always one or two guys you're like, who's that guy?
Yeah.
Where did he come from? And with the new redshirt rule, we'll get a chance to see a lot of new faces this year, because coaches are just as interested as we are in seeing who the step-up guys are going to be. So to me, that is probably the most fun thing, along with the camaraderie, seeing our colleagues like yourself.
Yeah, that is a good side benefit. And, you talk about guys coming out of the woodwork, and I want to hear who you think might come out of the woodwork down in your neck of the woods, but a guy that we've been hearing a lot about, and he may not be a known name beyond sort of our little area here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, but Jordan McCray is a guy that transferred into Oklahoma State, a wide receiver from South Alabama, small major college program, a senior, a wide receiver, a grad transfer. When he landed in Stillwater, I think everybody thought, oh, that's nice. They gave a scholarship to a wide receiver because they had all these other wide receivers. Well, lo and behold, it sounds like this Jordan McCray character is going to play for the Cowboys, and we know how dynamic their offense can be. So that's a name that not many people know at this point. I think they're going to learn it as Big 12 play gets going. But Cedric, for you, anybody, Longhorns, Aggies, anybody down there that you feel like maybe is unknown right now but might become known in the next few months?
Oh, yeah. Texas has a freshman running back by the name of Jordan Whittington, 6'1", 210-pound running back who can catch the football. He's from a 3A school called Cuero, Cuero Gobblers. And he scored 6 touchdowns in the Class 3A state championship game that was played at Jerry World. And he is a monstrous talent who's already getting raves from the coaches and teammates in practices, and no stranger to the big stage, as evidenced by what he did in the state title game. And along with Keontae Ingram in that backfield, I think they're going to do a lot to take a lot of pressure off of Sam Ehlinger, who's got the weight of expectations on his shoulders after that Sugar Bowl performance.
Yeah, Texas running backs always seeming to make headway, but a couple of Jordans that we threw out there, I don't know if there's any significance in that. But as I think about the NFL season, obviously their camps have already gotten underway, a lot going on there, but I'm really interested about these Big 12 quarterbacks. We see Pat Mahomes coming back after his MVP season, Baker Mayfield taking over a Browns team that has everybody buzzing after their offseason. And then obviously you've got Kyler Murray, the #1 draft pick going down to Arizona, who, you know, there was no talk about waiting to start Kyler Murray. He sounds like he's going to be the guy from day one, has already turned a lot of heads down in Phoenix. But for me, Cedric, it doesn't seem that long ago that Big 12 quarterbacks were supposed to be system quarterbacks. These guys, you know, couldn't really seem to make any headway in the NFL. Now you've got 3 potentially playing some pretty high-profile spots with draft picks and obviously that MVP award for Mahomes. But, you know, I just think it's going to be fascinating to see, especially those 2 youngest guys, the Oklahoma guys, how do their seasons play out. But fascinating stuff all over the NFL. We'll talk about Ezekiel Elliott and his holdout here in a minute. But anybody for you, Cedric, that you're fascinated to see either how they play or can they repeat something from last year? What's NFL curiosity for you right now?
My biggest curiosity, and I know I'm going outside our region, is the Pittsburgh Steelers. How on God's green earth are you talking about winning a championship without Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown? Mm-hmm. I know it was a dysfunctional locker room. I know it was toxic between Antonio Brown and Big Ben Roethlisberger. But you lose Le'Veon Bell, you lose arguably the best wide receiver in the league, and now you're asking Juju Smith-Schuster, who had a career year, you're asking him to now be the #1 receiver, and you're expecting to not miss a beat after going 9-6 and missing the playoffs last year. I think the Steelers may be in for a rude awakening. Baker Mayfield is not scared, Jen. You know him. I know him. He doesn't play scared. The Cleveland Browns are absolutely stacked on both sides of the ball. Myles Garrett on the defensive end and great offensive line help for Baker. You bring in Kareem Hunt. You got Nick Chubb. And then those 2 big-time receivers, Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry. I know there's a term called on paper, they're really good. I just think that there's so much talent that they can't help but win the AFC North. I think the Steelers may make the playoffs under Mike Tomlin. They always do, except for last year. But how can you expect them to be better after losing that kind of talent?
Yeah, fascinating to think about who could bubble up in those divisions, who might make the playoffs, who might miss the playoffs. But we'll start to get some answers here in the next few weeks, and that is pretty exciting. So football's back. We're all excited.